Jacksonville Jaguars fans, welcome into Duval Daily presented by GenJag.com. I'm Jordan DeLugo. Thank you so much for tuning in here on Friday, March 7th. It's basically free agency eve. It's Friday. Happy weekend, everybody. Monday is legal tampering. It is the start of free agency. We're finally here. We have finally made it. Who would have thought? So the Jaguars, they cleared a ton of cap space yesterday by trading and releasing and retirements and all that good stuff. If you need to be filled in on any of that, go back and check out our last couple videos, right? But look, the Jaguars have over $60 million in cap space now. I don't think they cleared all that cap space without planning to use a good chunk of it to rebuild this team in the image of Liam Cohen, James Gladstone, Tony Baselli. So I think the top priorities for the Jaguars in free agency are going to be secondary and interior offensive line. Brandon Sheriff moving on, it looks like. Mitch Morse retiring. Losing Andre Cisco, it looks like. You cut Ronald Darby. You need a starting corner. You need a starting safety. You need a starting center. You need a starting guard. I think those are your top priorities in free agency. I think the Jaguars will address them. And then we're going to get into like my final, again, it all starts on Monday. My final free agency plan for the Jaguars, and also kind of look at the draft a little bit, kind of provide a mock draft at the end. So this is a big show. I'm excited for it. Fired up. Fired up for the weekend, fired up to get back Monday and the craziness, the chaos that ensues for legal tampering period. Really appreciate y'all being here, supporting the channel. If you enjoy the content, please like and subscribe. So we're going to get into this free agency plan of mine that I think is realistic. Maybe aggressive, but I don't think that the Jaguars, with James Gladstone leading the way, are going to shy away from being aggressive. All right, so I said cornerback, safety, center, guard. Cornerback Carlton Davis, we've talked about it a lot. 3 years, $17 million a year, $7 million year one cap hit. If you haven't been paying attention, the Jaguars generally structure their contracts with big signing bonuses up front that are prorated throughout the length of the contract that allows them to have year one cap hits for new contracts about 35 to 40% of the average annual value. So we're going on the high side, making it 40% for these things. Signing cornerback Carlton Davis. Now you have two long physical corners who can play bully ball on the outside with Tyson Campbell, Carlton Davis. You have Jarian Jones in the nickel. This is kind of the way I would play things out for the Jaguars. And Carlton Davis, a 3-year deal, 2-year out, 28 years old, still playing at a very high level, coming off a jaw injury. So it's not like he's coming off of an ACL or something like that. Carlton Davis there. Sign a top safety. For me, it's Javon Holland. There's several directions you could go here that would be good with me, but we're going with Javon Holland, who has the connection with Anthony Campanile. I think that these two kind of think about football the same way. And they were with each other a while in Miami. I know Holland loves Campanile. I'm sure Campanile feels the same way about Holland. He's a great young safety, 25 years old, 4 years, $20 million a year, $8 million cap hit, right? So you've got your secondary looking like it's in pretty darn good shape now. I will say, you might need another starting safety, which you can find on the cheap. You can also find in the draft, right? So something to keep in mind. Sign a center and a guard. Drew Dahlman, I've been manifesting it for weeks now. 4 years, $15 million a year, make him the second highest paid center in football. $6 million year one cap hit. Now you have, in my mind, what is clearly a top 5 center in the game. You also signed Tevin Jenkins from the Chicago Bears. I wanted the Jaguars to draft him a few years ago. Now the Jaguars go and sign him in free agency. He's dealt with nagging little injuries throughout his career. He's never played a full season, but the last 3 years he's played at least 12 games. Last year he played 14 games. So you do have to maybe plan for him missing a little bit of time, but you said that about Brandon Sheriff when he got here as well, and he didn't miss anything. So 3 years, $12 million per year, a little bit of the injury kind of discount, people discounting him because he doesn't play full season. $5 million year one cap hit. So you've got safety, corner, center and guard. I think you sign a veteran role-playing tight end, whether that's like Luke Farrell or someone else, somebody that's not going to make a big impact on the cap at all, right? I think you sign. Look, I think maybe you sign two. I think Britton Strange is the Jaguars' starting tight end in 2025, as he should be. Edge three. Azeez Ojulari, 2 years, $10 million a year, something like that. Azeez is a guy who can heat up the passer on clear pass rushing situations. The Jaguars really need that outside of Josh Hines-Allen and Trayvon Walker. Azeez Ojulari, $4 million cap hit. And then you also sign a starting receiver. And the contract will be such a toss-up because I'm fine with like 10 different options here because they don't need to be the guy. Brian Thomas Jr. is the guy. They just need to fit into what Liam Cohen's trying to do on the offensive side of the ball. And so from Devontae Adams to Chris Godwin to Cooper Kupp to Amari Cooper to Hollywood, there's like a wide range of different players I'd be okay with. And guys that whatever the Jaguars brass feels comfortable with, I'm pretty much fine with it there at receiver. So that year one cap hit for that guy could range on the low end from like 4 million, on the high end to like 12 million, something like that. So you still have a ton of cap space when you tally up all that for the Jaguars. And then you get into the draft and you've addressed almost all your needs. I think the one big need you haven't addressed is interior defensive line long term. You have Mason Smith, who you're going to build around. I think that Eric Armstead, along with Gabe Davis and Darnell Savage, will likely be cap cuts following the 2025 season. So as much as I'm excited about Eric Armstead this year, I don't think that's like a long-term plan. So at 5, you go get Mason Graham, and now you have what looks like a really good interior defensive line in 2025 and two guys to really build around in Graham and Mason Smith for the long term. And that defensive front is looking fierce. And I know I've talked about drafting a wide receiver at 36 as well. I'd be fine with that, but I think the most prudent action is to go get another interior offensive lineman, whether it's Gray Zabel, Donovan Jackson, someone like that. If Tyler Booker's on the board, go get yourself another interior offensive lineman who can, A, potentially replace Ezra Cleveland long-term, B, in the short term, if you have an injury up front, you feel good to go. So Gray Zabel plugs in here at 36. He was available. At 70, that's where I strike at wide receiver, whether it's Jaden Higgins or Jack Besh, someone who has some size, some contested catch ability, someone who Trevor Lawrence can really rely on, and somebody who can be an impact blocker as well. I think Jack Besh really fits that bill. He could be a great blocker, but Jaden Higgins, if he's available, I think can be a fine blocker as well. We'll say Jack Besh. I think that's more likely that he's on the board at 70. So you go get Jack Besh, who I think really fits what the Rams and what Liam Cohen has done at receiver lately with his physicality. 88, Andrew Makuba. There's our other starting safety out of Texas. Fantastic young football player. Great instincts. Tested really well running a 4.45 40-yard dash, which was great for him. A good tackler overall. I just think he brings a lot to you. At 106, we go get a running back of the future with Travis Etienne, likely in his last year in Jacksonville. DJ Giddens out of Kansas State. Not a totally dissimilar skill set to Travis Etienne. I think he runs with a little bit more vision and patience, a little bit more power behind his pads. He's very explosive. He's creative in the open field. You have Tank Bigsby and DJ Giddens to kind of roll with after the 2025 season. And also DJ Giddens put some heat on Etienne and Tank Bigsby to perform at a higher level. Femi Oladejo at 125, edge out of UCLA. I love this guy. He might go a little earlier. We'll see. But I want to create a lot of competition at edge behind Trayvon Walker and Josh Hines-Allen. I'm sick of just last year was absolutely atrocious the way they handled it. And so I'm, going overboard here with edge. And I want the Jaguars to have a dominant defensive front. So the next 2 picks are also going to be defensive front guys. And it's going to be like the late round day 3 version of what they did last year in LA with Jared Verse and and obviously Braden Fisk. So we go get Aeneas Peebles and Antoine Powell-Ryland, who are both kind of these NASCAR package type of guys, come in and you can really heat up the quarterback. You can attack the backfield in waves with this plan that we've put together. Antoine Powell-Ryland is the edge. Aeneas Peebles is the defensive lineman, interior defensive lineman. Both are outstanding pass rushers. So I think that would be so cool to see. And they might go earlier. Who knows? It's the draft, right? 196 overall. Kyle Williams, I don't know how he's always on the board this late. Wide receiver out of Washington State. He's just a baller, certified baller, great route runner, very good athlete, strong hands, twitchy and explosive. And then at 223, Upton Stout, another one. He is smaller, cornerback / safety out of Western Kentucky, but he's a hitter. He's violent, he's physical, he's got great instincts, just a football player, and I think that's what the Jaguars are looking to add this year. So this is kind of my plan, my final plan for the Jaguars heading into free agency and really heading into the personnel portion of the offseason, the talent acquisition portion of the offseason. Free agency starting on Monday. Officially starting on Wednesday, the 12th. But we'll find out a lot of information on Monday about what the Jacksonville Jaguars are going to be looking like with some veteran additions this year. And then obviously the draft is now less than a couple months away. Starts April 24th, I believe. So we're getting there, folks. We are getting there. Let me know what you are looking for the Jaguars to do in the comment section below. And remember, if you enjoy the content, please like and subscribe. Y'all have a good one.